Hello, everyone. Welcome to Opinions New by Dr. Frank and Shay. I'm Frank. In this episode, I want to talk about my topic today is Chinese assault on every tower in America. Chinese assault on every tower in America. Okay, and what I'm talking about is actually about the Chinese assault by Chinese Communist Party on Chinese professors, Chinese academics in Chinese professionals in American academia. Okay. Talking about the circle of Chinese professors, Chinese American professors, it's not very big. This is really a small circle. A few years ago, there was a statistics as to the number of people of teaching instructors in post-secondary institution in America, degree granting is post-secondary institution in America. There were altogether in America 1.5 million teachers, and including full professor, associate professor, assistant professor, instructor, adjunct professor, teaching assistant, and I think, etc. Right? About half of us is full time, half is part time. So you're talking about full time teachers in American colleges, universities. You're talking about 750,000 people. Okay. Of course, for the professors, assistant professors, and the full associate and full professors, there's even fewer. Okay? Of all the teaching professionals, teaching instructors here, teachers in college, 76% is white, right? Including 41% of white male and 35% white female. 11% of faculty is Asian Americans, including Indian American, Chinese American, Japanese American, Korean Americans, Vietnamese Americans. Right? Of the 11% of Asian American professors, teaching faculty, 6% is male and 5% is female. Okay? And then African Americans, male and female, and Latino, Hispanic American, male and female, all the four categories all have 3% each. So that's the total. Okay? Of the Asian American professors and Indian professors, it seems to me Indian professors of Indian origin seem to be the most. Right? And the second is the Chinese Americans. Right? But to estimate exactly how many of those Asian Americans or Chinese Americans are from mainland China, that's where I'm from, it's kind of like difficult because the Chinese American, ethnic Chinese American professors here, we could be coming from mainland China, from Taiwan, or from Hong Kong, right? I mean, some of them refuse to label themselves as from China. They say, they're from, they're Taiwanese or Hong Kongers, right? Even though they are ethnically Chinese. So I'm talking about ethnical Chinese teaching faculty here. Right? So, but anyway, my estimate could be wrong. Correct me. In the comment section if you could. My estimate is that there are about 10,000 to 20,000 American faculty, teaching faculty in America that are of Chinese origin or ethnic Chinese. Okay? But I would say most of them are in STEM, STEM, right? Science, technology, engineering, math, and medicine, right? They tend to be in that. People like me were in social science, in humanity, in business, and not that many. We have a small fraction, it seems to me. Okay. Because this is a small circle, so even within the university, within the school, or within the same field, we know each other well. There are not that many, so we get to know each other well. but the interdisciplinary or cross-campus, but there's not much of interactions, right? Sometimes you just don't see that many, but this is a really teaching profession, teaching in college, this is a group of people. This is a profession which is considered, very quiet, with stable job, stable income, and well respected, right? But this for Chinese American professors, though, it seems to be a high risk profession nowadays. High risk profession. Right? Why? You have probably heard about the 1,000 talent program, right, by the Chinese Communist Party in China. 1,000 talent program. They are basically they lured Chinese American professors, to go back to China to work with Chinese companies or Chinese universities, and they encourage them to steal technologies, trade secrets, patents, things, and the intellectual properties, and they took them to China, take them to China, and commercialize them, and they paid these professors, nicely, not just ethnic Chinese Americans, but Chinese Americans, but also just black and white Americans as well. There's a chemistry professor, I think department chair from Harvard University, who was charged for taking money from China when he went to China, joined this 1,000 talent program. Right? So there are more and more of those people, being fired. They were being put in jail, for what they did. Right? But over 10 years ago, when the 1,000 talent program first started, I knew about it. I actually talked to some of my fellow academicians. We were talking about this, chatting about this. At that time, some people were really, tempting, trying to join. Right? Some more reserved, and some just, forget about it. Not even interested. Now, with years passing, now with because our different choices made, people are facing different result. Right? I guess the fate of everyone is different, right? And those people who were fired, are by American government, U.S. government, government institutions, universities, research institutions, were charged with many lawsuits, including the lawsuits. They're charges things such as stealing commercial secret, intellectual property, or hide their income from China, tax evasion, wire fraud, and things that, and even betray America. There's treason, kind of like treason. Right? Well, for Chinese Americans, I'm Chinese American, or American with Chinese origin, right? And we need to be loyal to the country we pledge our allegiance to. That's America, right? If we sell out America or betray America, and especially for a country that is free, is democratic, and free, a country where you can come and go, that give us so much freedom, give us so much benefits, and to betray a country like that is really unethical, illegal, right, and irrational, right? And I guess some of those people, they out of their greed or their pursuit of money and profit, or some were actually did so because they want to support the Chinese communist dictatorship. Right? I guess they got what they deserved. Okay? But then, and something that's quite interesting or puzzling is, instead of the accusation of betraying America, there's even a scholar that's being accused of betraying China. He's a Chinese American, accused of being betraying China. Okay? What's that about? Yeah? This Chinese American scholar His name is Miles Yu, actually. He works for the State Department, right? And actually, I heard about this professor, Dr. Yu, a few years ago, because he was on faculty of Naval Academy, right? His major field is Asian history and Chinese history, military history, Asian history, right? I actually recommended him. I recommended him to a Chinese TV network in New York, because they were asking me, that TV network asked me to recommend to them some like experts in in China-U.S. relations, Chinese military, Chinese history, and I thought he was a great candidate. He knew China, he knew America, he studied military history. So he's really, really the best candidate, right? So I recommended him. I don't know if they asked him to be on the show or not. He's basically Dr. Yu, Dr. Miles Yu. He's basically a think tank in the think tank function for Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, right? And he helped to establish, U.S. policy on China, and he could provided his professional opinion. As a historian and expert on Asian history and Chinese military history, what he could provide to this Secretary Pompeo is nothing but the perspective from history, historical perspective, and the way to understand the Chinese, right? Chinese, and Chinese government, and this decision-making process, right? And maybe, the internal technological process of Chinese Communist leaders. All these what he provided to Secretary Pompeo is nothing but the open knowledge, right? In our society, in this society, in the free world, this is nothing secret, right? He's not stealing. Dr. Yu is not stealing any top state secret from China and sell to America. He didn't do that. He's a Chinese American, right? But to call him betraying traitors or treason or betray China, this is just ridiculous. Very, really ridiculous. Right? And Chinese Communist Party's mouthpiece, Global Times, accuse him of being treason, and they want to nail him to the column of shame of history. Yeah? They think he helped, the Americans to negate, Sino-U.S. relationship, attacked viciously Chinese Communist Party and Chinese political system, and also they are isolating Chinese communists from Chinese people. Right? They think he is actually the mastermind behind Secretary Pompeo's, the China policy. Is really the bad guy. But that's where the problem is. Even though in the eyes of Chinese communists, right? Even though we, excuse me, are Chinese American scholars, excuse me, even though even though you are American citizen, right? You give up your past citizenship, become American, right? You're still supposed to be working for the Chinese government, right? And they view the Chinese Americans, as something like a slaves or servant that they can just mandate or command and control as they wish, right? That's what the problem is. They're hoping that the Chinese Americans could help, to build a good relationship between U.S. and China. Well, if there is a good relationship in the two countries in the first place, for Chinese American professionals to help, that's not a big problem. But what if the relationship between U.S. and China becomes soured, right? Becomes hostile, or even more so, when the two countries are fighting each other, right? And what if this conflict between the two countries, It's not just because of national clashes in national interest, but it's really the fight between right and evil, right? Righteousness and evil, right? And we know that the Chinese Communist Party is on the side of evil. It's an evil force, right? It's really launching a war. Is launching a war on humanity, on the world. Just look at this CCP virus and the Wuhan pandemic. Okay? At this time, at that moment, the Chinese communists expect the Chinese Americans to work for them, to be loyal to them, to help them. You know, is that crazy? How is that possible, right? What kind of role do they expect us to play? And do they want us to be the foot soldiers of evil Chinese communists, or to be a good, law-abiding citizens of America? Okay? You know what they did in China? Dr. Yu was, of course, he was an excellent student in China. His alma mater, a high school in China, had a stone carved with the names of those excellent top students who were admitted to good universities in China. And Dr. Miles Yu's name was on the stone in his alma mater in China. But now with him being so famous now, the school actually chiseled out his name from that stone. Okay? They're really changing history. They're really changing history. So, and W was admitted to Nankai University in Tianjin in 1979. He's studying history, history back then. That's great. So what I'm saying here is, what I'm trying to tell is, basically for Chinese Americans, professionals, professors, teaching faculty in America, in every tower, right? And we are basically, there are two doors open to us, right? Yeah, one is to betray China or sell out China, while the other is to betray America, sell out America. Of course, we know this sell out China is a falsehood, but sell out America is real, and many people did just that, right? That's really bad, right? I think the problem is, is really because there is a Chinese communist assault on every tower in America. And they want to lure the Chinese professionals, the Chinese nationals or Chinese Americans. They want them to work for Chinese Communist Party or Chinese government, right? And help them steal technologies, patents, things, or state secret. Right? And so, but the so-called selling America is real, right? But sell out America is real, but the sell out China is false, right? For Chinese Americans, I think the best way for us, just be loyal to whatever country, you pledge allegiance to, right? Be a good citizen and refuse any temptations, enticement from Chinese communists, then you'll be okay. But we know for sure that the American academia, right, the every tower of academic in America is being attacked, assaulted by the Chinese communists. Okay, we got to be careful when facing those temptation and enticement from the Chinese communists. Is really a test of our morality, and also a test of our soul. So you just got to be very, very careful. Okay. That's the end of this episode of Opinions New by Dr. Frank Tianxi. I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.